I just got here in Florida. I was traveling, my flight didn't have Wi-Fi, my friends, no Wi-Fi. And I just saw everything that happened, I just watched the highlights here. Man, I'm not gonna criticize Rossi since he's a great goalkeeper. He deserved to go to the World Cup. It's going to happen. I prefer to think of it this way. It was just one of those nights when everything went wrong. Everything went wrong. We conceded a goal from outside the box. A player scored the goal, in my opinion, by accident, okay? He missed the shot and still ended up scoring a great goal. Flamengo lacked the skill to score in the first half. In the second half, desperation set in, and then the keeper lets in an absolute howler. He made the wrong changes at times, I think. There's a lot to fix. I don't think Flamengo positioned themselves badly defensively. Honestly, I don't think so. But, man, the truth is they played badly. They played badly. In the second half especially, they played really badly. It seems like there are some players out there who are just there. And I'm not talking about Danilo, saving themselves for the World Cup already, right? For God's sake, right? Now, Danilo spoke the truth, right? When it's time to hang your head, right? To feel ashamed, right? He didn't say it, but he made it clear, you know? Feel ashamed and play well on the weekend. Now, once again, it's Flamengo, right? Choosing unconsciously, right? Deep in your subconscious, you're opting for just two competitions, the Brazilian Championship and the Libertadores. Focus on them. Eliminated. This is Flamengo's worst elimination in the history of the Copa do Brasil. Since Flamengo started playing in the Copa do Brasil in the 1990s, they had never been eliminated in the fifth round. That's that first round that Flamengo enters a little later after it's already started. But man, it's surreal, dude. It's a stage where you have some weaker teams and so on. Flamengo faced a top flight team that's on the rise, Vitória and all. This isn't the same team Flamengo put 8 past last year. But it's not an excuse with the squad Flamengo has. There's no justification at all. It can't happen. It's a shame. The biggest shame of all time. Being knocked out of the Copa do Brasil at this stage is embarrassing, my friends. Let's move on. But man, it's surreal with the squad they have to be eliminated by Vitória. It could have been even worse, right? It was supposed to be worse, since in the first game, the referee actually made a mistake. Here, we don't make excuses, no. We don't stay quiet. When there's a mistake in Flamengo's favor, I say it. I'm not like Palmeiras fans who don't admit it. There should have been a red card in that game. A Flamengo player deserved to be sent off in the first match against Vitória. It could have been much worse. Right? This Flamengo versus Vitória match should have been much worse. It's just sad, my friends. Just sad. A shameful elimination. But São Paulo was knocked out too. Other teams were also eliminated from the Copa do Brasil. Botafogo lost to Chape. But Flamengo, with the squad they have, it's unreal. It's unreal. I'm going to bring you now the press conference.
As one of the squad leaders, please analyze the impact of this elimination at Flamengo's Barradão and the way it happened as they exit the Copa do Brasil.
We're out of the Copa do Brasil, which was one of our season goals. Obviously, a defeat always upsets us a lot, especially for a squad that was put together to win everything we compete in. The game was exactly what was clear to see. Flamengo, with the responsibility on them and, as always, taking control of the game and getting the shots off, always pressing the opponent. We conceded 2 goals. The first one, a lot of credit to Eric, who has a lot of quality, a really beautiful goal. The second one was our mistake, a collective one that we have to hold ourselves accountable for and can't let happen. And after that, it was tough. Vitória dropped back and defended hard, giving everything with great effort and sacrifice. We made mistakes in our finishing in the way we tried to break through their defense, but I would say we played a solid game. We dominated the opponent the whole time, but today just wasn't our day. Danilo.
Ever since the first leg at Maracanã, that whole warlike atmosphere started to build. And today, here at Barradão, it was clear that this win, this advancement over Flamengo, was like a title for them. I wanted to know how you see Flamengo now playing a final, a decisive match against any team. Did it take the team a while to get going here at Barradão?
That's what Flamengo is. I think everyone in Brazil, no matter which team, when they play against Flamengo, because of the history, the culture, the investment, obviously they're always going to want to win, to give their best against them. Since it was a victory, you have to congratulate their work. They celebrated the way they should. Now, all that's left for us is to keep our heads down, look inward, and next weekend try to respond, because that's how it works at a club that's built to win.
Danilo, you went through that last year and saw that elimination against Atletico Mineiro. Later at the end of the year, Flamengo lifted 2 trophies. Do you think this elimination brings more pressure to win a 5th Libertadores title and another Brazilian championship?
No, I don't think so, because as I said, our goal is to win everything we compete in. Obviously, getting knocked out of the Copa do Brasil is something that wasn't in our plans, and unfortunately it happened. Our focus and determination to win the other trophies we still have to play for this season is the same. Obviously fixing what needs to be fixed, but with the same effort and dedication.
Danilo, how much did the missed chances contribute to today's elimination?
A lot. We're aware of that. I'm not here to say that the attack didn't deliver. It's all of us. We had chances there, even the defenders with headers and all that. It's a lesson learned. We need to be more lethal in every way. We also conceded 2 goals, so we have to look at ourselves in terms of defensive positioning and the way we approach the game. The whole team shares responsibility. It's collective. We're also responsible for scoring, and today we didn't do that.
In what way can Flamengo maybe improve when it comes to finishing? I don't know if it's more of a mental issue or if it's about training. How can you all be more lethal as well? Because today there were 26 shots and not a single goal.
I honestly don't know how to answer that. We're there, we work on every aspect of the game. Build up defense and finishing. We had the chances. Today was a below par game because in several other matches we managed to score. But it's definitely something we need to pay attention to because it can make a difference. In fact, it will certainly make a difference from now on in the competitions we have ahead. All right, thanks everyone.
And for sure, for this kind of game, De La Cruz is definitely not the first option. That had already happened a bit in the home game. De La Cruz started the game at the 45th minute. I had to bring him on a bit because of this direct play in the midfield. First balls, all the balls. The game was dictated by Vitoria. And that's why today he wasn't the option. The choice was more to fill the box. Because we had the ability to get there, it was easy to use both flanks, and we could create crossing situations. That's when I put in Pedro, put in Bruno. Bruno was already there. I put in Alves so we could fill the box better, because with this kind of structure, it's difficult. Selingue, De La Cruz, and even Garanjo. They were going to battle for balls in that packed area that was really there. For sure, our goal of keeping all 3 competitions open was important. At this moment, we ended up losing. And it increases our pressure to try to win the other 2 competitions. But the responsibility is the same. Within the group, we already had this responsibility of being in all 3 competitions. That's why I said it in the game analysis. The attitude was there. The players fought, they tried to do their best. We got shots off, we couldn't score a goal. Sometimes things get difficult. There are days when nothing goes your way. That's why I'm saying it here publicly, to you and your friends. It wasn't for lack of attitude or effort, because I felt that everyone inside gave their best. We didn't back down. But it was definitely an unexpected result, because Flamengo, with all its opponents, is always at the center of agony. We started the game well. That's why we controlled it. We had 70% possession. We created 26 chances. The players showed attitude in the duels. They were committed in those situations. But we definitely got into the game. 7 minutes in, the opponent, without even matching our quality, ended up scoring a goal. An excellent goal, but almost unstoppable. And then we took control of the game, and we missed, and we missed, and we couldn't finish, and then that happened. The second play was from the corner kick. We weren't disciplined enough dealing with the corner kick, and we allowed the cross. That was our mistake, but that ended up affecting the result. And today's advantage was the opponent. We tried until Flamengo. We put in more offensive players, getting more players into the box, creating more chances, but we never had the referee on our side, nor the skill to get the 0 line. We left Colombia and Porto Alegre, and he just joined now. Others were left out because Bada couldn't come. He was hurt. Regarding the game, we put in those we thought suited this type of game, a game of duels with very little space. Vittoria was defending there within 20 meters. And it was hard to get in. It was hard to get in. And only with some presence in the box were we able to change things. In other words, even Coelho, who has some physical limitations, even Sambelem, who has some technical difficulties, when playing against these kinds of teams, we have to match their technique and some ability to be aggressive. And for others, that's why in all games with these characteristics, we include some players with these traits so that we can compete too. I think that in the final moments, what I focus on is the finishing, because the attitude and the effort, the players have it. I'm talking about outside possession. It's possession that doesn't create finishing chances. I think our possession created finishing chances. We had it. Araujo's chance, we had it. One. We had Carrascal with a header at the far post to tap it in. We had one for Pedro to finish. We had two for Leo with headers in the 6-yard box to finish. I've already lost count of the chances we had like that, but I believe we had that ability to create. Apparently we did. It was the finishing ability, because normally in a game like this, 2 or 3 goals would have been scored. That's what the team has always done. The team has been finishing its chances. It's one of the best attacks in the league, but today even Caria, maybe one of the best finishers, we couldn't score the goal.
Look at Flamengo arriving. Look at the players there. Flamengo players passing by, Flamengo's arrival there. Just the arrival. Just Flamengo's. From Flamengo. Look at Flamengo's arrival there.
Just the arrival of
Flamengo's arrival. Look at Flamengo's arrival there. Jorge Gascal. Only from Flamengo's communications, Luis Araujo there. Just the communications, look, Flamengo. Let's continue with images of Flamengo's arrival there. They're passing through there, look, from behind. There are players passing by here too. He's already back. It's just the comms team passing by. So Flamengo's mood, there's the image. Very symbolic.